The Geek Speak Show is produced and distributed by 22 Creations Multimedia, LLC.
Welcome to one of the longest-running geek culture podcasts.
What you talking about?
Of course, I'm talking about the Geek Speak Show.
You're still talking.
Henry San Miguel has been speaking geek since 2010.
Damn!
And he ain't shutting up anytime soon.
I'm sorry.
Now he has Emily Mata as the new co-host. And the nerdy Navajo, Shanclen, as well.
Oh, not everybody.
This is where you'll hear interviews with all the movers and shakers in geek culture, as well as from up-and-coming talent that you won't hear anywhere else. Ready? This is the Geek Speak Show with Henry San Miguel and Emily Mata.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Geek Speak Show. Hopefully an exciting one. We'll see what happens as we go on. Later on in this episode, I'm going to be revealing, not explaining, revealing everything about the Geek Speak Expo, including when and where tickets will be available. I know, finally, yes, it's happening. It really is. Before I do all of that, though, let me take a few minutes to let you all know exactly what the expo is and also what it isn't. In fact, let's start there. Let's start with what it isn't, what it's not, because that's only one thing and it's pretty simple. It's not a convention. So don't think of the expo as LA Comic-Con or WonderCon. Definitely do not try to compare it to San Diego Comic-Con. It's nothing to that size. What the expo is I guess a gathering is the best way to describe it. A gathering of what or who? Well, creatives. Several creatives, in fact, from the Southern California area. And their careers all include working on TV shows, in movies, and video games, comic books, and other things that I know you're all going to enjoy listening to. How do I know that? Because you've heard them on the show. Now, I'm not keeping it secret, keeping it safe. I'm actually going to reveal the names in a little bit of who actually the speakers are going to be. I'm just keeping it short so we can get to the guest. One more thing about the expo. It's a small gathering, but small as in just under or about 200 of you sitting and listening and watching what these folks do. And the best part, you're going to get plenty of time to ask any questions that you like. And I know you're going to have a few. The Geek Speak Expo is absolutely, for those of you listening to me right now, the Geek Speak listeners, in other words. But it's also, I also designed this with those of you who are attending local film schools, or you're majoring in film, or you're trying to break into the entertainment industry in some way, some fashion. This is the perfect place for you because there's going to be a lot of opportunities to network with working professionals, with entertainment journalists, and of course with Emily and Shanclen and myself. You can talk to us also. I'm going to reveal everything, like I said, later on in this very episode. But before we get to that, let's get going on. Let's make our way over to this week's guest. As you all know, this Saturday we're going to be in a new month. Yeah, already. The year's flying by. And it's also the first Saturday in May. Now, you all know what that means. That means it's Free Comic Book Day. For the first time in 16 years, the Geek Speak Show will not be spending Free Comic Book Day at its birthplace, Flying Colors Comics and other cool stuff in Concord. Where are we going to be? Well, in a moment, I'm going to introduce you to the owner of the shop where we will be this Saturday for Free Comic Book Day.
Don't scrub ahead. You'll miss the complete Geek Speak experience if you do. The Geek Speak Show will continue after these messages.
Join the Geek Speak Show at their first ever live event, the Geek Speak Expo. Happening on Saturday, August 8th at Casa 723 in Fullerton.
I know you're gonna dig this.
You'll meet and hear from geek culture creators like composers Jacob Yoffe and Rowan Hilton, Mark Tullius, creator of the Try Not to Die interactive book series, the Skullcado Comics artists, Jeffrey Snow, founder and lead writer of Snowstorm Comics, There will be even more speakers and panels announced in the coming weeks, including a panel for up-and-coming filmmakers and a panel highlighting women and their contributions to the comic book industry. Spoiler alert! They're not just artists. Tickets will go on sale once all the speakers are announced. Be sure to make plans to join the Geek Speak team this fall at Casa 723 in Fullerton for the Geek Speak Expo.
Join the Geek Speak Show live as they celebrate Free Comic Book Day 2026. This year, they will be at 4 Color Fantasies in Rancho Cucamonga. On Saturday, May 2nd, visit 8045 Archibald Avenue in Rancho Cucamonga. 4 Color Fantasies will, of course, have free comics for you. The Geek Speak Show will also have free stuff for you. Comics from past Free Comic Book Days will be available at their table. They'll also have card games available for you based on the worlds of Edgar Rice Burroughs, Greek gods, and the Cthulhu mythos. Those are free too, by the way. But a limited number will be available, so visit their table as soon as you can. Plus, 2 of you will leave Free Comic Book Day with free comics and 2 free tickets to the Geek Speak Expo. But only if you come out and join us on the first Saturday in May for Free Comic Book Day. Meet the Geek Speak team at 4 Color Fantasies from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, May 2nd. Follow 4 Color Fantasies on Instagram at 4 Color Rancho to get all the info on who else will be appearing for Free Comic Book Day.
Ready for this week's guest? Good, because that's what's next on the Geek Speak Show.
All right, we're back. And this Saturday, the entire Geek Speak team will be celebrating Free Comic Book Day. Where else? At a comic book shop. But, like I said a few minutes ago, it will not be, for the first time, it will not be at Flying Colors Comics and other cool stuff. This year, we're going to be joining the Empire, the Inland Empire. Don't get crazy. Specifically at Rancho Cucamonga at 4 Color Fantasies. The shop and the owner, Chris Brady, they're also celebrating 20 years since 4 Color Fantasies opened their doors on May 6th, 2006. So I invited Chris Brady to join me on the show today, and here he is. Chris, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to this one. And also, well, before we start talking about Free Comic Book Day, let's jump in a time machine. Let's go back 21 years ago. What were you doing? What was Chris Brady doing before you opened 4 Colors?
Chris Brady was a used car manager at a dealership for 3 years before I opened the shop. Was going into work every day, and on my way in, I'd stop and vomit blood and realize that I don't want that stress anymore and left that craziness and took on a whole new stress at that point. So, but it's a stress I enjoy. So,
so who or what gave you the idea, or how did that idea get in your head? Hey, let me open up a comic book shop.
Well, we've been shopping. My partner and I had been shopping at shops in the area for like 3 or 4 years. Before that, we were going to one specific store, and honestly, wow, this probably doesn't sound good, but I started the store out of spite because I went in that shop after spending $250 a week at his store and was missing a comic. And I was like, hey, dude, if you ever find, and mind you, he never knew my name the 3 years I was there. I said, the manager, I'm like, if you find a copy of this, I don't care what it costs. I will pay you however much you want for it. I just need to have it because I'm a completist and I need it in my collection. And he looked at me, laughed, and walked away. So at that moment, I was like, oh, you know what? Okay, I see what's missing. Customer service. God forbid people actually be nice to their customers instead of making them feel like idiots for being around them. So I was like, okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the first time I ever thought about that. I did start it out of spite, but yeah, we kind of picked an area that was about 10 miles from any other shop and in a quiet nice little town, and picked our location and started from there. It was, I had to literally hunt down all the information because there wasn't anybody who was sharing on how to open a store or any information out there. So it was like, oh, okay, I got to try to track all this down. So,
yeah. You know, we're laughing when you say out of spite, but really for this audience, you could say, and they'd get it. It's a perfect reference. You could say, kind of like Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself, is basically what you said.
Exactly. Yeah, or one of my customers said it to a customer that was in here one time and was being a jerk, and he looked at her and said, "You know what? I guess he can be your supervillain origin." So it's the same kind of concept. Yeah. When we opened, I actually sent an invitation to our grand opening to that store, and at the bottom of all our invitations it said, "Thanks, Jim, it's because of you." So so yeah, it was spite. Wow. I just realized that. Wait,
you kind of mentioned the name, but you don't have to say the name of this. Does that shop still exist, or are they?
Yes it does. Okay. Yes.
20 years later you can say thank you. Well, Jim, you said it.
And that's the funny part, is that the owner didn't come to our shop until like 6 years in, because when we first started, we also had 20 PCs for a LAN center, and we were like half LAN center, half comic book shop. And the focus was comics, not LAN center. And slowly but surely that LAN center went away to where we only had like 5 PCs at one point, and then we took them all out. But he came up to the shop thinking that we were just like, a LAN center with a rack of comics. And he stopped by to check it out. And as soon as he walked in the door, you saw his face just kind of drop. And he was like, he was like, "Hey, how you doing, sir?" Because I recognize him. So,
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's kind of why I don't like do pictures very often. It's because I like to be able to sneak into people's shops without them knowing me. So that way I can check out what they're doing. So I can steal their ideas.
And of course, I asked you, "Hey, let's do video, Chris. Why not?" So
good. I'm good. It's okay.
Yeah, but like you said a minute ago, the back then no one was willing to share. Give you basically a comic shop 101. So I mean, from Chris Brady's experience, looking back now, almost 20 years later, what's the hardest part about opening a comic book shop to you?
For me, it was I never went into it with the expectation of stealing somebody's customers. I always wanted to get my own. So, I mean, that was the biggest hurdle, was building your own customer base. Because geeks are very loyal to where they go, even until they get screwed over bad enough that they're just like, "I'm done with this," So, but I mean, that was the hardest part, was trying to get the marketing out there and getting people to know you're there and getting new customers. It kills me. Even after 20 years, I still get people coming into the store and they're like going, "Wow, I didn't even know you were here." And I'm like going, "Oh my God." I go to like every community function. We used to sit in the movie theaters and hand out flyers to every single person going through the movie theaters. So, I mean, the marketing is the biggest part. So.
Well, the other thing also about that, back in 2006, a lot of people don't believe me when I say this. If you really think about it, social media wasn't really what it is now. So, people are probably thinking, "Why don't you put on social?" Well, it wasn't what it was today.
No, it was MySpace. We had a MySpace page for the store, but I mean, it's like, "Oh, I post a cool little meme or something." It wasn't like, I could like send out like we can now. But no, there was none of that. It was all still like. Perfect example, Jeff Johns came out to our store in 2008. I got a phone call from him on the Wednesday before the Saturday he was coming, saying, "Hey, I'm going to be out there this weekend. Is that cool?" I had no email list. I had nothing. It was me like telling everybody coming into the store. So it ended up being like a intimate moment with Jeff Johns. And it was like only like 20, 30 people there. And, it was cool. But I mean, it was like, now, honestly, if anybody says they want to come out, I got almost 16,000 people on our email list. So it's like, boom, here you go, and we'll get a good crowd for everybody. But back then it was like, wow. Yeah. Like Robert Picardo did the same thing. He called me like the day before and said, "Hey, I'm coming that way. Would you like to have me come in and do a signing?" And I'm like, "Sure," but again, it was MySpace. It wasn't like you could do anything with it. So
Yeah, so that was actually a lesson that I had to learn when I started the show too, because social media even in 2010 wasn't the same as what it is today. So yeah, I get that. Now for you, again, going back a little bit, what do you remember from the first day that you were actually in business and the first full week of the shop actually being open?
First day, the thing I remember the most, like I said, it was Free Comic Book Day. But the thing I remember the most was, honestly, it was my family coming out and being there, and just everybody just coming into the store and staying around for like 3 or 4 hours. All these new customers. I still have my very first customer is still, very first 2 customers still come to the store. They've moved away. But every time they, are down in this area, they come in and they're like, so it's like, I still see all these people 20 years later. Some of the kids that would come in for the land center, they're having their own kids now, Yeah. So it's kind of, makes me feel old, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing I remember most. Oh, and the empty shelves. It was like the store was so empty back then, man. It's like looking now, I'm like going, what did we even sell to stay open? So, but yeah.
No, I mean, I get that part also. Like I said, like I mentioned, and everybody that listens for a long time, they know we've always covered Free Comic Book Day at its birthplace at Flying Colors Comics back in Concord. And if you watch our videos from our coverage there, the same thing. There are kids that are literally, you see them get taller, a little bit taller every year, every time we have them on there. And you said there are some that have their own families now, which is great because you see the next generation also start becoming comic book readers. So I like that part, but yeah, if you also watch the videos, you can see I have a little bit more gray in the beard. So there's that side too.
Yeah. This is all, this is all from the store. I'm not going to lie. So,
yeah. Well, having said that, I don't know if you want to mention the ones that gave you some of that are great, you can too. But what are some of your favorite memories? And give as many as you want and take as long as you want from the almost 20 years of 4Color.
Oh my God. Creators coming that were just awesome to be around. I mean, like I said, Jeff Johns, we've had Gail Simone. We're the only shop Gail Simone's ever gone to more than once. Mark Wade, Dwayne McDuffie this was his final store before he passed. Mm-hmm. For Free Comic Day. Philip Tan, all these creators that have come out and been a part of the store. We're trying to get as many of them back out for our 20th anniversary year as possible. So, the Free Comic Day, we got like, I think we're up to like 42 different creators, and they've all been, people have come multiple times, or come not multiple times, but they've been in the last 20 years. So, that kind of thing like that. Some of my favorite stuff is some of these staff members that I've had. I hate to say this because I know it's like the thing now is like, oh, you can't, family, business, they're not the same thing, but honestly, my staff members are family. I have staff members that, that have kids now and met, I have 2 staff members that met here at the store and got married and have children now. So, I mean, and it's like, it's crazy because Free Comic Day is so large that we have volunteers, and it's always great because a bunch of old staff members keep coming back and helping out. They free up their time. They come and they do, they work their ass off for, a 12-hour day basically just to help us with Free Comic Day because, we're family, and that's the way I look at it. And then one of the biggest good memories, but sad memories for me, not sad, but like makes me tear up is during pandemic when we shut down, I had customers come up and they would come in and they'd be like, up to the doors, and they'd be like, let me buy, or here's a couple $100, and it was just those kind of things, that seeing these guys who have been coming to us for 10 years, 12 years, showing up and just, here, let me just help you support, help support you guys. That was that actually made me cry. And I'm not a tearful person, and that one just that hit me in my heartstrings. So, and then again, with 20 years, you start seeing some customers who pass on.
Yeah.
And some of these guys are really great people, and you end up getting a phone call from their survivors, and it's like that just hits too. I had a father that was barely 35. He was swimming in the ocean and ended up hitting his head and drowning, and he was a good friend on top of being a customer, and we just randomly found out about it, and it was just like, whoa, everyone's in shock and stuff like that. So but yeah, I mean, I would say that the staff and customers being around are like my favorite things, honestly.
But actually,
customers, but I love talking. So
yeah, no, I was gonna say, you made me think of something there, and we're gonna give you guys a little behind the scenes what was going on right before we started recording. You actually were telling me that there was a figure there. I think it was a Robin figure. You said that just went off by itself.
Yeah.
I think you just explained who it was.
Yeah, that could be actually. Yeah, that could be. And Sid, probably, if it was going to be anybody, he was a jokester. So, but like I said, we actually want to start a memorial wall for some of these customers, that have been loyal to us for 20 something years. And then, when they pass on, like I have one customer, his wife passed, and, he has no kids, and his wife and him were really, really great people. They would come every year at Christmas with cookies. I do Santa Claus during Christmas time.
Yeah.
I'm at the local mall, and him and his wife would come down and take pictures with me every year and stuff like that. So I mean, it was kind of, it was very sad when she passed, but and so I go and have dinner with him every so often, or go hang out with him, just so that he's a great guy on top of everything. So I don't want to see him fall down. So
yeah,
I don't like to let people I like fall down. So
yeah. Well, what the greatest thing, the best part about what I'm hearing is that you were right all along. Yeah, like you said, you did it. You opened the shop out of spite, but really it's because you saw something that was missing, and almost 20 years later, you realize, yeah, you were right. Customer service is very important. How you treat the customers, like you said, you treat them as family. We were talking right before. A comic book shop, the great ones, yeah, is because you treat them as family, not as customers.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, we try to learn everybody, and that comes from my experience, was not the guy never learning my name after even spending that large amount of money every week. It's like, you can at least learn my name, man. But, I try to learn everybody's name, so that, because our register system, we put your name in to keep track of everything. So it's like, I want to type in your name before you even get up there. So, it's like, so that you're like, I'm going to see you every week. I should know your damn name. It's not rocket science. It's friendship. It's like your bartender. Your bartender should know your name too.
I was about to say that. I was. That's why I was smiling when you were saying that, because I'm thinking, I'm surprised all these years no comic book shop has been called Cheers.
That would be interesting. I picked ours with the number 4 in front of it, just so I'd be at the top of all the lists.
Yeah. Yeah, because usually, I get it. So they start numerically, which is smart, actually. I mean, we laugh, but it's smart.
Like I said, it was done out of spite.
Well, not spite. You do it yourself.
Yes, there it is.
That's what we'll go with. It sounds like you just told us, but I'm going to ask anyway. Not that you're closing the shop anytime soon or anything, but to this point, what's been the most valuable lesson that Chris has learned from being a comic book shop owner?
I was taught this by another comic shop owner. His name's Car D'Angelo. He used to own Earth 2 in LA. We were at a Comics Pro meeting, and there was a set of like Hal Jordan with all the different Lanterns action figures that I wanted bad for myself. And he looked at me, he goes, "Are you buying this for a customer?" I said, "No, I'm getting it for myself." He's like, "All right." So he outbid me. He kept outbidding me. kept outbidding me. He's like, I'm going to teach you a lesson, right? And I was like, what car? He's like, never participate in your own crap, Chris. It's you're gonna lose your money. You're gonna lose yourself if you do that. Make sure that you're not not taking home everything. You're not buying one of everything for yourself. And that was the biggest lesson I've learned is in this time is, like I said, those boxes full of comic books that I took home every week that I never read because I would read them in the store. So it's like, why do I need 15 boxes of comics I'm never going to read again? So, that was kind of my biggest lesson. So,
okay. Yeah. It's a good lesson actually. So it's
money out of pocket. You got to look at that and the other thing is never over order. I would much rather try to get copies of something for somebody than to end up with stacks of comics on the wall, because every one of those comics is your money you're never going to see back again.
Yeah.
Because, that's another lesson that I learned listening to Marvel marketing hype and got excited for something and ordered way too many, and just looking at the long box of comics that I'm never going to sell, sitting there going, wow, why did I order that? So,
yeah.
But
like I was going to say, now that brings us to this coming Saturday, May 2nd, Free Comic Book Day. So let everybody know who's going to be at the shop, what's going to be happening at the shop this Saturday.
All right. So every year we do Free Comic Book Day, big tents on the outside. We're doubling our size this year because we have 42 different creators. We have Will Spartacio, Gail Simone, Brett Bean, Kenneth Rookefort, Dean White, Danny Minke, Norm Rappman. I mean, it's just a whole list of people. And then a bunch of local creators. They'll all be out under the tents. It's kind of like a serpentine. You start out in the tent and go through and see everybody and then come into the store. And we have a bag filled with comics for every single person. We do it a little different than most stores because I know some stores put out tables of comics and let you just pick which ones you want. And I learned from Pandemic that if I just bag them up ahead of time and hand them to people, they're all happy with their free comics and we get people through the line fast and it works well. And then if you want to shop, the shop has a big sale going on. It's, and people who want to shop can shop, and the people who just want the free comics get their free comics. So,
But when you say you put them in the bag, is it all the titles or just certain titles?
No, we go through and we curate. There's a few that we put into every bag, like the major titles we try to put into every bag, but, we curate it out so that you get some, and, because I found that the majority of the people who come here go hit other stores too.
Yeah.
And pick up comics there. So if they come here first, they kind of get an idea of what they need to get from another store. So, and then we have certain ones that we hold back just because we're like, okay, these are ones that we didn't order a lot of because honestly, they're stuff we don't carry. But I know customers want stuff like that. So
yeah, I think a lot of it has to do also with the fact that some shops, not all of them, but some shops, they do put a limit that you can only get 2 or 1 or 3.
Our limit used to be, it used to be 10. I think we're at like 15 or 16 comics right now in the bags. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we're not cheap. And last year it was like 24 comics per bag. So
yeah,
and we ran out of bags. So this year we had to like space it out a little bit more. So
yeah. Well, see that's you're more generous than most shops because, like I said, most of them say you put a 2, 3 a limit, and then if there's people like you were a collector and a completist, well, you have to have them all. So that's why they go to different shops to try to exactly.
Yeah, because I mean that was my partner and I. That's what we used to do on Free Comic Book Day. We run around to different shops and try to get everything. So. And he's the one that hasn't learned the lesson yet because he just started like realizing how much stuff he has. Because every year he'd take home a box full of free comics, and I'm like, "Why do you need these?" He's like, "I don't know. I just took them." And I'm like going, "Okay, so now I have 7-8 boxes sitting in the back right now of old Free Comic Book Day books that I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with these? So we'll just hand them out in line. So that's the other thing too. We hand out a bunch of freebies to people waiting in line, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, he could give the answer that I was telling you also before, but our Chris, my son Chris, that's his answer now. Every time he goes to a convention, he comes back loaded with all kinds of stuff. And I ask him, what do you need all this for? And his answer is always, because I like it. Like, okay.
Yeah. But the problem that I have with this one was that he like gets them, leaves them in a box, and they sit in the garage. I'm like, okay, we need to get rid of this stuff. So.
Now, like you said, there's going to be, and I don't have, you sent me the list. I don't have it in front of me. You didn't give it up. But are all the artists going to be there all day or just for certain?
No, Will is going to be there from 11 to 2. And same thing with John Bailey and Bill Millsap. They're the voices of, respectively, of Jeff the Shark and the Punisher from the Rivals games. So they'll be here from 11 to 2 also.
Yeah.
But everybody else is pretty much here all day. So,
yeah, and you said it was 11 to 4, right?
11 to 4, yeah.
Okay. So the shops, your actual anniversary is actually next New Comics Wednesday on the 6th. It falls on next Wednesday. So, are there any special plans for the shop that day, or is it just going to be just a regular New Comics Wednesday?
We're working on it. So I'm trying to I've been so focused on just getting this Free Comic Book Day going that I haven't really figured out anything for anniversary day, but I'm pretty sure I'll have something to give away on that day to everybody who comes in. So, and then all of our subscribers are definitely going to get something. So,
I mean, you only have a few days.
I've got some stuff planned already, but I mean, it's like stuff that I wanted to have for Free Comic Book Day won't be here until next week. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll do that then. We'll give those away on that day. So,
okay, yeah. And there's also what do you call it? May the 4th, Star Wars Day. You can do anything for the shop or no?
No, actually, I'm not. So part of the thing that made Gail and I and her husband become friends is that the first time she came down here, I said, well, I'm going to take you to Disneyland for coming. Thank you. So it's been a tradition for us to go to Disneyland, usually on Sunday afterwards, but I'm going to be too wiped for Sunday. So, and I already was going for May 4th because of Star Wars Day and Star Wars Night that night. So we're all going to go to Disneyland on May the 4th. So, and we'll meet up and have a park day. And then my partner and I are going to go to the Star Wars Night that night. So
you're going to celebrate it. I mean, it's weird to say this at the home of Star Wars, Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be in Galaxy's Edge with my collapsible lightsaber. I have a retractable lightsaber that I saw on a video on TikTok, and I immediately said, must have. And there's a $500 lightsaber, and I'm like, I got to have it. But I took it once already and literally spent 15 minutes with Kylo Ren and 2 stormtroopers playing with the lightsaber. So it was kind of fun. So,
yeah. See, so all of you can hear.
My employee tells me I was the belle of the ball that day. So,
Yeah. I was going to say, for all of you listening, you see, Chris is definitely one of us. So you definitely want to be at For Color Fantasies for Free Comic Day if you've never been there before.
You can see how messy my office is with stuff.
Yeah.
You'll see on Free Comic Book Day how messy this office is. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have everything linked up on the show description, but they like hearing it from the guests, so you let them know, website, social media, everywhere they can follow For Color Fantasies.
Cool. We are on the web at www.forcolorfantasies.com with the number 4. We're also on Facebook at 4Color Rancho, or you can just search 4Color Fantasies. Instagram, TikTok. We are on X, but I'm not an X person, but I just can't take myself to delete it. But and we're on YouTube also. There's some videos from past Free Comic Book Days and some movie screenings, because we used to do movie screenings too. So we always would do. That's the other thing. We used to do a movie screening the Thursday night before Free Comic Book Day. And it would be like, whatever Marvel movie was coming out, we'd rent out a theater and have basically all of our customers were able to buy tickets and come with us. So
yeah, we did that. We did actually on Free Comic Book Day. So yeah, it was that was fun doing those.
Oh my god! I can just imagine that chaos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could do it because we're not running the Free Comic Book Day, so it was easier for us. But for the shops, I can imagine all of that. So again, I have all the links on the show description for all of you guys listening. And if you can be there this Saturday,
TikTok, even though it's Ellison owned now, but hey, whatever.
Yeah. So I'll say thank you for coming on. I know it's crazy time as we get closer to Free Comic Book Day. So thanks for coming on, and I'll wish you an early happy anniversary. I know it's next week, but I'll wish you again, next week when it actually is, and we'll see you, of course, this Saturday for Free Comic Book Day.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Aho, young warriors. Get ready to receive the teachings. This is Nerdy Navajo News. Here's Shanclen.
Oh, not everybody. My name is Shanclen here with the Navajo Nerdy News. Now let's go ahead and hop into some amazing stories that happened this week. A 26-year-old man has been arrested in Singapore in connection with the leak of the upcoming The Legend of Aang: The Last Airbender movie. Authorities say that the suspect managed to gain remote access to a media server where he downloaded a digital copy of the film and distributed it online. Under Singapore law, I think it's Singaporean or Singapore law, unauthorized access to a computer material can carry a penalty of up to 7 years in prison and a fine reaching $50,000. The plan was to release the film exclusively on Paramount Plus. Now, I've seen some of these clips on TikTok of this movie, and I have to say, screw you, man who leaked it, because of you, they may not get a big release to be able to make a second one. But everyone that went and saw it online, go watch it again when it comes out because it looks killer. Now on to the next story. Universal Pictures has moved the release date of The Mummy 4 from May 19, 2028 to October 15, 2027. Woo! The May 19th date is now going to be Universal's Miami Vice 85 reboot starring Michael B. Jordan and Austin Butler. Yeah, we get it a couple months earlier, which is cool, so we get to see Brendan Fraser back in The Mummy. Oh. Now, on to the next story. James Gunn took to Threads and addressed the status of two DCU shows, Paradise Lost and Booster Gold. According to him, Booster Gold remains in development while Wonder Woman prequel series is in extreme development. He said he's not writing either of the series and that Paradise Lost will not feature the new Wonder Woman, whoever that may be. The series will take place several years before Diana was born and focus on the long history of the Amazons with political schemes similar to those in HBO's Game of Thrones. Now, finally this week, I will end with sad news. Iconic comic book writer and creator John Conway has passed away. He started writing stories for DC and Marvel when he was 16 and was hired at 20 to work on Marvel's Astonishing Tales number 3. During this time at Marvel, Jerry Conway wrote Daredevil, Iron Man, and The Incredible Hulk. He also wrote The Tomb of Dracula and created Werewolf by Night. He also was credited as a co-creator of Carl Danvers as Miss Marvel and Man-Thing. He will forever be remembered for his time on The Amazing Spider-Man, where he introduced the Jackal, the Punisher, Hammerhead, Tarantula, and Tombstone. It was Jerry Conway who wrote The Amazing Spider-Man number 121, the night Gwen Stacy died. And it was Jerry who, in his last issue of Amazing, introduced a new character and lore of Ben Reilly, Peter Parker's clone. Jerry Conway also worked at DC Comics on Justice League of America, Batman, and Detective Comics, where he created Firestorm, Power Girl, and Jason Todd as the second Robin. He also created villains Killer Croc, Cheetah, and Killer Frost. He also wrote a few episodes of Batman the Animated Series. In January this year, it was confirmed Jerry Conway would be inducted into the Will Eisner Comic Awards Hall of Fame. It will be a posthumous honor now taking place during this year at San Diego Comic-Con. Oh, yes. That's all I have for you guys this week on the Navajo Nerdy News. I shall see you guys next week. Stay safe And thank you for listening. Oh, hook on it.
Now that you have heard the stories, you may continue on your journey, the journey that is listening to the rest of this Geek Speak Show episode.
The Geek Speak Show will be right back.
Join the Geek Speak Show live as they celebrate Free Comic Book Day 2026. This year, they will be at 4 Color Fantasies in Rancho Cucamonga. On Saturday, May 2nd, visit 8045 Archibald Avenue in Rancho Cucamonga. 4 Color Fantasies will, of course, have free comics for you. The Geek Speak Show will also have free stuff for you. Comics from past Free Comic Book Days will be available at their table. They'll also have card games available for you based on the worlds of Edgar Rice Burroughs, Greek gods, and the Cthulhu mythos.
Those are free too, by the way.
But a limited number will be available, so visit their table as soon as you can. Plus, 2 of you will leave Free Comic Book Day with free comics and 2 free tickets to the Geek Speak Expo. But only if you come out and join us on the first Saturday in May for Free Comic Book Day. Meet the Geek Speak team at 4 Color Fantasies from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, May 2nd. Follow 4 Color Fantasies on Instagram at 4 Color Rancho to get all the info on who else will be appearing for Free Comic Book Day.
The Geek Speak Show continues now.
We do continue now. Before we end this episode, though, as promised, let me reveal everything that's coming soon from the Geek Speak Show. First, as you heard Chris Brady and me talk about a few moments ago, this Saturday is Free Comic Book Day, and we, the Geek Speak Show, we will be at 4 Color Fantasies in Rancho Cucamonga. You heard some of the names earlier from Chris Brady, not all of them. He said there's going to be 42 people, so he'd still be talking right now if he gave you all 42 of them. And, in fact, I can't tell you about, well, one of them. It's still a group, but I can tell you about one of them because she's right here in front of me, and that's our own Emily Mata. So jump in, tell him, I'm talking, about, of course, about the Skullcado Comics team. So tell him what you guys are all going to bring, what you're going to bring. What are you guys going to bring to Free Comic Book Day this Saturday?
So a little bit about what I'm going to bring is, of course, Dewey. So, of course, Dewey is Adventures the Strips. Overall, just some watercolor paintings, prints, stickers. Best for the Skullcado crew, Kevin Tran will be, of course, bringing his character Overkiller, while Jevin Loop will be bringing Nuke Rooster, as well as they're partnering for their book, Maguaro. Philip Quick, the writer and artist, will also be there vending his artwork as well. So that's a little bit about what each of us are going to bring. Of course, we're going to bring our own respective pieces, stickers, merch, and yeah.
And Emily will be doing double duty because you're also going to be there as a co-host of the Geek Speak Show. So when you're not signing, you'll be talking to people on camera because that's also what we're going to be doing. We, the Geek Speak Show, what we've always done at Free Comic Book Day. I know in the IE, you guys haven't seen that, but if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll get an idea from everything we've done at Flying Colors. It's basically talking to all of you on camera and off camera. You're not required to be on camera with us if you don't want to. Just say hi if you see us. I'll say it now, and you'll see it when you're there on Saturday. I've said it before. Shanclen can be a little intimidating. This big old guy, giant teddy bear, really, really friendly, really, really nerdy. Everything you hear on the Geek Speak Show when he does his nerdy Navajo news, he'll be the same way over there. I will say, I will ask you guys to help me hold him back because he doesn't believe me, so he'll believe me once he sees you guys there. But he thinks, he has this idea, it's his first time, he has this idea that when I told him about Free Comic Book Day, he thinks every comic book in the shop is just open. So he's planning already, I'm going in there and I'm going to get Predator this and I'm going to get this one. I said, no. That's not what that means. So if I have to hold him back, like I said, he's a pretty big guy. I'm going to ask some of you guys to help me hold him back. Don't hurt him, but just hold him back. So that's what we're going to be doing, not holding him back. We're going to be talking to all of you guys while you wait in line for your comics. One special thing that we're gonna do that's different, that hasn't happened before because it had never been the 20th anniversary. You heard Chris talk about it. We talked about it a little bit. This year, the shop is celebrating its 20th anniversary. Technically, it is next Wednesday, but we'll start it early. So what I'm going to have a lot of you do, and Chris said he would point you guys out. Still, we're not going to force you, but those of you that have been going there for at least the all 20 years of the shop's existence, we're going to have you guys come on camera and record basically think of it as a I guess virtual or an on-camera happy anniversary card to Chris and the staff and everybody at Four Color. Just wishing them basically a happy anniversary, a happy 20th anniversary. And if you do that, you get the presents. I have a bunch of over all the years we've covered Free Comic Book Day. I have a bunch of free comics. And that's just whatever's if you remember some big series from DC, from Marvel, from Image, they were kicked off during Free Comic Book Day, and they're kind of hard to find now. I might take the bin. We can fill one up. You can look through our bins, and you can pick just one. If you record a message for Color, you can pick one of those. Or Overpower Games has sent me starter packs, I guess they're called. Edward Rice Burroughs, Cthulhu Mythos, Greek Heroes and Monsters, or CGCs. And I also might have a few other surprises. I won't tell you what they are because then it wouldn't be a surprise. And I'm not quite sure what we're going to get. But you'll know. You'll know if you're going to be there on Saturday. You'll know what it is. And if you're not going to be there, why do you need to know anyway? Just saying. So the other thing is this leads into the next thing we're going to talk about. You can also enter to win 2 free tickets to the Geek Speak Expo later in August. You don't need to get on camera for that. That's open to everybody. But the only thing is just make sure that you can actually make it to downtown Fullerton on Saturday, August 8th. That's all that's required. So speaking of the Geek Speak Expo, I told you I was going to reveal everything. So this is where I say we'll talk to you next week. And no, this is where I reveal everything. Emily was about to throw something at me. So here are the speakers for the expo. And I will say, these are the ones that are confirmed now. We still probably are going to add a couple more or 3 more, maybe 4 for sure, and maybe another panel, maybe. But these are for sure the ones that are confirmed for now. So let me start with Jeffrey Snow. You guys heard him and saw him at the WonderCon a few months ago. Well, it was about a month ago. Feels like months ago, but just a few months ago. He was on here, but he's going to talk about Snowstorm Comics. He'll tell you why he founded it, why he's got his own book company, and he's also going to give you a preview of what's coming from them. Something you didn't get to see at WonderCon, you will get to see at the Geek Speak Expo. Yes, an exclusive. Jacob Yaffe and Rowan Hilton, speaking of friends, they are 2 composers. They're going to talk about writing music for TV shows, for movies, video games. They've even written music for trailers, for this little movie you may have heard of, Star Wars. Jacob wrote some of the music for that trailer. They've done stuff for the Marvel trailers. So if you like music, if you make beats, what can you do with it? Well, you can do this. What they do, they've done music. They've created music for documentaries that you've seen on Netflix, on Prime. They did one with RDJ on AI, which obviously is a big thing now. So they'll talk about that. And again, we won't say who, but they did tell me they're going to bring some surprise guests. I do know who they are, but I'm not going to tell you yet. That I will keep a secret. Keep it safe. Who else? Oh, there's a new panel, actually. I had to shift a little bit because a couple of panelists, they had to drop out because of scheduling. They needed to do something. So instead of just boo-hooing and, well, we can't feature them, I just said, you know what? Let's just pivot, and I'm going to do a panel, not on one person. But this panel is going to be called 21st Century Creators. That's the working title, but we may keep that. Really, honestly, everybody that's going to be at this expo that I'm going to name, they all can be on this. They fit this description. But specifically for this panel, you're going to hear from authors Mark Tullius, Evan Boffman, and Kevin David Anderson. Mark created the Try Not to Die series. Again, you've heard him on the show before. Think Choose Your Own Adventure, except, as the title says, You Try Not to Die. They've got like 46 books at this point, and they're gonna premiere their new one, Try Not to Die, in a video game, which actually Mark wrote with his son. So he made preview that one there, and knock on wood, it might be available for you guys to get it exclusively. You'll get it there before it comes out in stores. Another exclusive for the Geek Speak Expo. So you're gonna hear them. You're also gonna hear from another author, Greg Sorber. He's been on the show before, and he was also at WonderCon. He's the author of the Mech Haven series. He'll be on this panel. All of them will talk about how they came up with their ideas, how they self-published these books. But that's not all. It's not just books. You're also going to hear from Sjogren. Sjogren, you've heard him before. He's an illustrator. He's a storyteller, as he calls himself. He's created toys based on Stranger Things and on somebody that Emily likes, Guillermo del Toro, as well as his own, Sjogren's own animated film called Lucky Brave Sunshine. He's actually traveling with it right now. He's showing it at the film festivals. So he will be there. He didn't tell me what, but he said I might have some exclusives to show them. I said, bring him on. And those are most of the ones that we have confirmed now. Like I said, I may add some more. Now, that's not all of them. Those are the ones that I want to talk about. These, Emily, you jump in for this one because you have actually two panels. One that you're on, the other which actually, honestly, I'm really looking forward to it, that you are moderating. So tell them about your two panels.
So the first panel that I will be modding, but also being a part of, is the Women in Comics panel, which I'm really excited because this is going into what I've been researching about for the past almost 6 months. So I'm really excited to highlight women, but also the different roles that they do play in comics. So they're not just only artists and writers, but they're also business owners. They're also head editor-in-chiefs of their own company. So there are huge attributions to comics, as well as I'll be a part of the Skullcado Comics panel, as well as we're talking about how do you get started on doing your own comic and how do you build a collective and build a community around it. And yeah, and that is important because, as you heard a few minutes ago from Chris Brady, not just with the shops, anything that we do, especially today in 2026, yes, you need a community around it, because if not, it's going to sound like that. And it's not fun when you're doing stuff all alone. I mean, it might be if you're that kind of person, but on average, for creatives, we don't like being alone. Just saying. So those are two panels that you will be on. You'll be moderating one of them. The other one, you are a part of it. And this is the one that I was hoping I could confirm to you guys, and I'm happy to say I can. We're going to wrap up the Geek Speak Expo in a fun way. Emily's already smiling because she knows what it is. It's a panel and also a demonstration from Lightspeed Saber Academy. That's lightsaber fencing, if you're wondering what they do. Yeah, you heard me right. Lightsaber, like lightsabers, the actual lightsabers, and fencing. Put those two together, that's what you're going to see at the end. But it's not just fencing with lightsabers. They want to bring up some of you guys from the audience, and I said, well, we can. I don't know if we have enough space, but we'll try. You can try, as Anakin once said. We'll try to do that. But one thing that we are going to do for sure that we can do, and it doesn't really take anything other than be loud. You guys be loud. We're going to take. There will be sides, as you all know, this year. And especially that when we do the Geek Speak Expo, Star Trek will have already turned 60 on September 8th. That's their 60th anniversary. So one side, I don't know what color maybe gold, or I don't know what color we'll pick for the fencers. They will be Team Star Wars. So if you're a Star Wars fan, cheer for them to win. On the other side, Star Trek. On the other side will be Star Wars, because Star Wars, their anniversary is next year. Star Wars will turn 50. Man, we're getting old. It will turn 50 next year. So the other team will be, I was going to say we'll pick red, but you know what red shirts mean to Star Trek. Emily, you know, now that you're starting to watch Star Trek, you know what that means when you're red. So maybe we'll pick a different color. But we'll have Team Star Wars, Team Star Trek. Even if you're not on that team, you as the attendee,
If you're a Star Wars or Star Trek fan, cheer for them. Cheer them on. Like when you go to Ren fairs and you're cheering for when they joust, do the same thing. Cheer for your knight. Cheer for your fencer, I guess is the way to call him. So whatever team you want, Star Trek fencer, Star Wars fencer, you get to cheer them on that way. And like I said, we'll just end it in a fun way. But that's for now. Everybody that we have confirmed. Well, there'll be a few more that actually reached out to me. I didn't reach out to them that we may add before all this is over. Now, the other thing, the one more thing, as Shanclen would say, I did mention at the beginning, I'm also going to finally tell you when and where are the tickets going to be available. Well, again, come back next week. And they will be available starting this coming weekend, Saturday, tied into Free Comic Book Day for a reason. I'll tell you why. Number one, you're going to be able to find them two places. One, on our website, thegeekspeakshow.com. If you're not there already, bookmark it. You can go there. There's a little tab on top that says the Geek Speak Expo. When you click on that, 5 guesses, the first 4 don't count, where that takes you. Yeah, that's one place where you can get them. The other place, if you want to go there directly, go to Eventbrite. We're gonna go through Eventbrite like we've done for the other events. It just makes it easy. So go through either one of those places. Now, here's the thing. We're gonna kick off the ticket sale with a sale tied into Free Comic Book Day. You know, the theme of the weekend is free comics. You get free comics no matter what comic shop you go to. So we're not gonna give you the tickets for free. We're not that crazy, but you can buy one ticket and you get one extra ticket free. So, for example, if there's 2 of you, one of you buys a ticket, you get 1 ticket free. See how that works? If there's 4 of you, you get 2 tickets and you get 2 of them free. If you got a group of 20, well, that's math, and you do the math. You know what I mean? But I think you get it. You buy one and you get another one free. Again, tying it into Free Comic Book Day. That sale, however, don't think about it. Sunday morning, that Sunday after Free Comic Book Day, May 3rd, 10 a.m. Pacific time, sale ends. And then tickets go on sale, regular price until the expo. So if you want to take advantage of that sale, that Free Comic Book Day sale, Saturday, Sunday until 10 a.m., that's when you buy it. So don't think about it. Well, think about it for like 2 nanoseconds, then go ahead and buy the tickets. That'll be happening this coming weekend. And that's how and where the tickets will be on sale. I think we got everything out of the way. I think you guys all know what you need to know. You know where to get the tickets. Again, Saturday, it all kicks off. I want to say 10 a.m., but I'll probably release them earlier because I'm getting a lot of messages. Hey, when the tickets go on sale? Well, Saturday. We'll say 10 a.m., but keep bookmark it again. The geekspeakshow.com. It'll be there. You'll see when it goes off. And if you're going to be at 4 Color Fantasies for Free Comic Book Day, put in your name. Well, we're not doing video, but Emily knows. I've shown you how we're gonna draw whose head we're gonna take it out of. Somebody's name. You will get 2 free tickets for the Geek Speak Expo. So as you can tell, the theme is gonna be free this weekend. So Free Comic Book Day this weekend. Join us at Rancho Cucamonga if you're gonna be there. If you can't be there, if you've never been there, get your tickets. Start making your plans to join us in August for our Geek Speak Expo. And after all of that, we're not done, because don't forget, also put this on your calendar or however you keep notes. Come back next week and do what?
Speak more geek.
Yeah, because my mouth is tired now, so talk to you then.
While you wait for the next episode, follow the show on Instagram at GeekSeek. You can watch event coverage on the show's YouTube channel, Geek Speak Videos, and also on TikTok at The Geek Speak Show. Learn more about the show's upcoming live event, the Geek Speak Expo, at the official website, thegeekspeakshow.com. The Geek Speak Show will return in Avengers Doomsday. No, actually they won't. They'll be back next week to speak more geek.
The Geek Speak Show was produced and distributed by 22 Creations Multimedia, LLC.